Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Talk. It is Saturday, April 22, 2023. I am Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you are in Jamaica, the Caribbean, or the world. It truly means a lot. And you have tuned in several different ways. And if not everybody knows about it, you can listen to the show in several different ways. So you can download the Love 101 FM app on your smart device, depending if you have Android or Apple. Go in the Google Play or Apple Store and download it there. It is free. You can also go on Facebook and YouTube on Love FM Jamaica, and you should see me there. Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, or good night, wherever you are. And just to let you know that on YouTube, Facebook, and the Love FM app, you can go back and listen to the show. So that's right. So in the Love FM app, there is a podcast section, and you should see Sports Talk. So if you missed the show, or if you want to hear it again, recommend it to a friend, whatever it is there. And on YouTube and Facebook, we'll be there all the time until YouTube and Facebook crashes permanently. So we are there. You can listen to the show live all the time on love101.org in your internet browser. Or if you're in Jamaica and you want to just keep it traditional, that's fine. Go on your radio, 101.1 all the way to 101.9, depending on where you are in the country. So thank you again to everybody who is tuned in. Today we are focusing on European football because the respective seasons over there are getting really tight. In the English Premier League, for Arsenal fans like myself, I'm going to need a better health plan because uh, it's going down to the wire. Manchester City chasing, and we have so much to talk about. And also in the UEFA Champions League, the semi-finals, they have the semi-finalists have been decided. Real Madrid, Manchester City, AC Milan, and Inter Milan. Those are some epic matchups. We'll talk about all that after the 1:15 break, where I'll be joined by two great analysts, two great young analysts, I should mention, because they are still young and they are growing, and they have some great football views. So we will hear from them after the 1:15 break. And remember, as always, I love to hear from you. So if you have any thoughts about anything that I say or my guests say during the show, or if it's on the topic of the English Premier League, the Champions League, or if you have any sports topic in general that you want to ask me or leave your view on, you can do so on 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. That is the WhatsApp line. And if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can leave it in the comments section. So very shortly, we're going to go into my monologue for this week, which might be pretty interesting. Who knows? But first, as always, I love to start with the sports bits, which is a mini sports report of some of the what I think are some major things that have happened during the week or are going to happen in the coming week. So let's start off with track and field, because the Velocity Fest 13 meet at the National Stadium later this afternoon will see world 200 meters champion Shericka Jackson and double Olympic sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Herah contest their first 100-meter races for the season. Jackson and Thompson-Herah will go up against the likes of former world under-20 champion Brianna Williams and current under-20 world champion Tina Clayton. The men's 100 meters will see Zarnell Hughes, Akeem Blake, and Julian Fort headline the event. In the women's 400 meters, Beijing World Championships medalist Shade Williams will clash Commonwealth Games 400 meter hurdles champion Janive Russell. Olympic sprint hurdles champion Hansel Parchment, Olympic bronze medalist Megan Tapper, and World Under-20 sprint hurdles champion Karika Hill are among the other top athletes down to compete at the event. Now, the under 20 Reggae Girls moved a step closer to qualifying for their first ever World Cup after beating Honduras 2-0 earlier this week to top their group in the CONCACAF Women's Championship qualifier. The young Jamaicans will now advance to the final round from May 24 to June 3 in the Dominican Republic, where only the top three teams advance to the 2024 Under 20 World Cup. USA and Mexico are amongst the teams who will vie for the automatic spots. Meanwhile, the senior Reggae Girls got a much needed cash boost as the government will be providing support totaling $20 million to assist with their preparations for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand this summer. Speaking at the Jamaica leg of the Global FIFA Women's World Cup Trophy Tour at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel this week, Sports Minister Olivia Grange says the support will be in the form of monthly stipends for each member of the team for nutrition and training necessities. The Reggae Girls will face France on July 23, Panama on July 29, and Brazil on August 2. Speaking of money, Netball Jamaica has launched its Road to South Africa campaign to raise funds for the Sunshine Girls preparation and participation in this summer's Netball World Cup in Cape Town, South Africa. Approximately $51 million is needed to send the team to South Africa, and Netball Jamaica has already secured $25 million through sponsorship. The deficit was reduced during the launch as the government committed an additional $10 million in funding. The Netball World Cup will run from July 28 to August 6th, with the Sunshine Girls looking to win their first ever gold medal. And finally, Jamaicans will have to travel regionally to watch the Caribbean Premier League, as no matches will be held on the island for this year's tournament. The Talawas, who lifted the CPL T20 title for a third time when they defeated Barbados in last year's final in Guyana, last hosted a match in 2019 at Sabina Park. However, only St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana will host matches this year. The tournament will run from August 16 to September 24, with the opening match seeing the Jamaica Talawas taking on the St. Lucia Kings. Long time I don't see a CPL match, but travel regionally, I mean. Anyways, that was your sports bits for this week, and it is now time for this.
Connection established. It's time for Daniel's weekly monologue.
I'm Ariel Brown Blake.
I'm Dave Blake.
I'm Hope Blake.
I'm David Blake.
And it's time for the Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
The Danielog.
Oh, we love it. And I think I deserve it.
So before I start my monologue, I just want to leave this point because it's going to be very important. Accountability is very, very important. So accountability is very important. So back when I was at Wolmer's in sixth form, we used to have this field, like not a big field, but a decent sized field behind the sixth form block, right? And, you know, one day I saw like my classmates playing like actual football around there, big goals and everything like that, right? And so I was like, okay, cool. So one day I decided to join them, and it was really fun. But the vice principal came, and I think she confiscated the ball. And little did I know that, you know, you weren't supposed to be playing football. So it's not like we were playing in our uniform or anything like that. They actually changed into sporting gear, boots, everything, right? And, you know, I didn't know that we weren't supposed to be playing there. But the next time the vice principal, when, we went back and played football another time, she kind of let it slide and it was okay. But if the vice principal decided to give all of us detentions, Daniel couldn't have been like, well, I thought it was okay, or they got permission to play behind there. Right? I could have said, well, I never know, and try to beg not to get a detention or even worse, a suspension. But yeah, I literally had no excuse. So why did I tell that story? So I don't know if you all saw the viral video this week of two race cars at the Mobay track, which hasn't been used for quite some time because it's in desperate need of repairs. There were two race cars that were going around the track, and I believe the first time I saw it was the J3, that's the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association. They had posted a video on their Twitter account saying that it's disappointing to see, and then it caused this major uproar to the point where the mayor of Mobay was saying that there was no permission granted or anything like that. So there was the people in the cars weren't visible. Nobody never really know who it was or anything like that. So Doug Hollywood Gore, one of Jamaica's greatest motor racers, he reached out to the media. So the media didn't reach out to him, because even in the article at the Observer, he reached out to the Observer, and he admitted that he was the one in the video, saying that, it was for a music video for dancehall artist Stylo G. And according to him, he said that they're shooting a music video and he thought that they got permission. All the gates were open to get inside Mobay. It was only until, the uproar started that he knew that this wasn't, that they weren't granted permission to do so. And he basically held his hand up. He apologized. He spoke to some people within the sport, and he was basically saying, look, sorry about that. I actually thought this was okay. And it's important that Doug Gore did that, because it could have gone as one of those 9-day wonders where no one would have owned up to being those cars. No one would have confessed. A major investigation would have had to be taken place and excuses would have been given. But even though he made a mistake without knowing that he made a mistake in a sense, at least he was accountable, right? He made himself accountable. Now, in sports and even in our regular lives, as we've seen in several industries, people really don't take accountability. And yes, the Mobay track hasn't been used. Yes, the government has given promises which haven't been fulfilled as yet. But at least somebody decided to say, hey, I'm not going to wait till the investigation is done. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to make my own statement. I'm going to let people know, hey, I was the one in there and I thought that all the things were in place, because it's not like I could have just drive inside Mobay Stadium like that. So it shows that there are some people out there who have that respect, who are willing to hold their hands up and say, well, even though I didn't know, I made a mistake and I own up to it. And I wish more administrators did that. I wish more CEOs, managers, even athletes, especially politicians, would just hold their hands up and say, hey, I was wrong and I'm sorry. So that's a lesson that I believe we should all learn. Instead of hiding away and hoping that the problem goes away, just hold your hand up. Yes, there might be some consequences, but at least we know that, hey, you are an upstanding person. So that was my monologue for this week. And when we come back, we'll be talking another form of racing, not actual racing. But in terms of the title race, the English Premier League, that is heating up between Arsenal and Manchester City. And the race for the Champions League crown, we'll be speaking about all that up until 2 o'clock. And my two analysts are waiting and ready. So when we come back, we'll introduce them and get into it. This is Sports Talk right here on the Family Station, Love 101.
When your shipments need to be there fast, it's simple. Choose DHL. With locations in over 220 countries worldwide, we are the #1 trusted express shipping company, here to help you share a piece of yard abroad. With over 50 years of experience, we provide competitive rates and daily discounts on shipments large and small. Get peace of mind knowing that your package is in safe hands and will get where it's going in time. From Jamaica to the world, DHL. Excellence simply delivered. Visit any DHL location island-wide to start shipping today.
You have insurance, but it's just sitting there. We'll show you how to put it to work. Monday, April 24 on Family Time, join host Reverend Marshall Lawrence Davids and guest Sharnette Clark as they discuss the topic That Multifaceted Insurance. That's Family Time, Monday, April 24 at 5:30 p.m. right here on the Family Station of 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love. The planet is sending an SOS, and 97% of scientists agree that human activity is responsible for global warming. Christians believe that it is our sinfulness that is causing the earth to respond this way. Interesting. But what does the Bible say? Tuesday, April 25 on The Rock, join host Bishop Harold Steve Blair and guests Keith Spence and Reverend Dr. Ralston Nemard as they discuss the topic, the gospel and climate change. That's The Rock, Tuesday, April 25 at 10 a.m. here on the Family Station, Love 101, celebrating 30 years of music, family, and love.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with attorney at law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dallin Toussaint. On Thursdays, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Educam Cooperative Credit Union, providing value through service, and Bashco, the store that gives you more. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the Family Station, Love 101.
This is Asafa Powell, one of the fastest men in the world, and you're listening to Love 101, your family station.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on Love 101, the family station. We are approaching 1:20 p.m. Remember that you can stay connected with me on 876-997-3125. That's our WhatsApp number, 876-997-3125. And also in the comment section of YouTube and Facebook. Paulette Stevenson, this is in regards to the monologue that I gave earlier, saying that she likes that, that he's disciplined. And Sandra Graham saying it's very good to say I'm sorry. One team that is hoping not to say sorry is Arsenal. In an unlikely title race, not many believed that they would at the start of the season, but they are here now. But over the last few games, they've stumbled a bit, and Manchester City are right on their tail, and it's going down to the wire. Also in the UEFA Champions League, Manchester City and Real Madrid They will go head to head very shortly after some convincing wins in their quarterfinal games, and it's going to be an all-Italian clash in the semifinals, which means an Italian team will make the final, the first since Juventus in how long ago was that again? When that was when Bale did score? No, that was when Mandzukic scored that bicycle kick. Forgive my brain. But anyways, let me introduce my two guests who will talk about all things European football with me. I have the founder of A-Ball Sports and sports journalist Aidan Alexander. Aidan, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Daniel. Afternoon. And I'm a co-founder. Javon Main is my other co-founder as well.
All right, great. And then I wonder if I should call him Jackson Brand because I see him name himself as Kyle Williams, but he is the host of the GZ Sports podcast. I'm gonna call him Kyle Williamson now because I see that's what's his name right there. But if you want to change it, then that's fine. Kyle, good afternoon.
Hey, Daniel, Aidan.
All right, great. So let's start with you, Aidan. Arsenal yesterday very fortunate to come away with a point, 3-3 against Southampton, but we saw in those games against West Ham and against Liverpool, 2-0 leads, both evaporating, and their lead is being cut by the minute. What is going on with Arsenal? What has changed compared to a few weeks ago where they could have been almost 12, 15 points clear at this stage?
Well, I think it comes down to, this is the business end of the season. This is where, the mentality monster that are Manchester City really come into their own. Manchester City has been around the block. They've been in this position before. Arsenal still, a relatively youthful team, the youngest squad in the league. Maybe just that the realization that it's getting closer and more down to the wire is what's playing on the players' mentality. But, these last 3 weeks that we've seen is completely unacceptable, no matter how you phrase it. Throwing away 2-0 leads back-to-back weekends. Going down 2-0 to Southampton and then having to fight back right at the end to make it 3-3 and get a point. These are games that you expect Arsenal to be getting all 3 points from, especially from the positions they were in the first two. I think Manchester City they're right behind them. Maybe that's playing on the minds of the Arsenal squad players, but we'll just have to see how it turns out.
Yeah, Kyle. As he mentioned, the mentality of the young team is probably showing. I probably won't agree with some people saying that it's a weak mentality because I don't think you can be a title race at the end of April and have a weak mentality. But do you think that not having more of those senior players or being in those experiences more is leading to them doing some of these things subconsciously where they've been doing at a high rate all season?
It could be a factor. I mean, as Aiden said, they're a young team and they don't really have much winners in their team. I mean, maybe Jorginho, but apart from that, their starting 11 does not consist of many winners. Zinchenko and Jesus, but 3 out of a squad of about 25. It's not over the top. I mean, they've been in this bad position ever since Saliba's gotten injured. As you've seen, they keep dropping points, defensive mistakes, because Saliba was the rock, the glue of the team that made them go on and kept winning games and grind out results, even got some goals for himself. So I think his miss and the lack of more senior, quote-unquote senior players, that's what's weighing in on Arsenal right now. That's really what's doing.
Aiden, Arsenal play Manchester City on Wednesday, and it could be crucial. Arsenal currently on 75 points, playing 32 games. City just behind on 70, playing 30 games. They won their FA Cup clash earlier today. So they go in with a little less rest. But it's at the Etihad, and we know Manchester City, they have been in positions like these a lot over the last decade. Is there any chance that you think Arsenal goes to the Etihad and come away with those 3 points with the things that we've been seeing over the last few weeks?
It's always been an uphill battle for Arsenal in this title race. Manchester City, they've been going extremely well so far, but it's started to maybe dip these last 2-3 weeks. Going to the Etihad, and before yesterday they could have gone to the Etihad and gotten a draw and still have had the destiny in their control to win the title. But now they have to go to the Etihad and win because they don't have enough of a cushion to suppress the 2 games in hand. Granted, City has to win those games in hand to get the points, but the Manchester City, you'd almost want to back them to win those 2 games. But Arsenal have to go to the Etihad and get the win. That's a massive uphill battle. City went to the Emirates and got all 3 points, and they'll be coming back home now, on a high of just beating Sheffield United 3-0 today, having Real Madrid in a couple weeks' time. That's going to be a wicked game. Arsenal, I don't think you can call them favourites. Like Kyle had mentioned, Saliba missing has been a massive problem for them. Conceding 7 goals in the last 3 games. That's not title winning form. But I'm excited to see how this Arsenal team works out. I've been impressed with them all season, and going to the Etihad and getting a win, it's not past them.
Yeah, Aiden just made a point there, Kyle, about City trying to go for that Champions League title as well against Real Madrid, who we know basically drains the life out of you. Yes, they have those games in hand. Do you think that they will be able to keep that momentum and possibly overtake Arsenal? Because it hasn't been a while since it's been a while since a team has done the Premier League, Champions League double.
Well, I can't see how they wouldn't overtake Arsenal at this point. Arsenal haven't won at the Etihad in about last time they did it was 2015. So they don't get 3 points there, then I don't see how City really falter. In regards to the Champions League, well, Pep did say his team was suffering from a bit of fatigue, and never bring myself to go against Real Madrid, no matter who the opposition looks. Somehow Real Madrid will always find. So, just like we knew Rodrigo time, it can always happen for Madrid. And City, they went out, they got Haaland, he's already equaled the goal scoring record in the Premier League. That they brought him to win the Champions League, and if they don't, then it will be a failure. Yeah, but I see them overtaking Arsenal. Unfortunately, they may go ahead and win the league as well. But the Champions League, I go against Madrid. I still think Madrid might knock them out.
All right, we'll get to the Champions League very shortly, and some more topics on the Premier League. We're approaching 1:30 here on Sports Talk. Aiden and Kyle will be with me nonetheless, so if you have any questions for them or any comments, just let me know. We're going to a break, and we will be right back here on Sports Talk.
Sharing the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
Get ready for Expo Jamaica 2023. We're connecting the world to Jamaica with over 350 Jamaican exhibits in manufacturing, exports, produce, agriculture, tourism, and services. Bring out your family and friends. Friday, April 28th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. National Indoor Sports Center to the National Arena. Adults $1,500. Children under 12, $500. Expo Jamaica. Do it, thing, support it. Hosted by the JMEA, powered by the Ministry of Industry, Investment, and Commerce. Check social media for details.
Educom does it again with the mega car loan sale. 100% financing, interest rate of 6.95% and up to 10 years to repay. Hurry now and visit any of our 9 branches. Call Educom at 876-926-6973 or WhatsApp 876-559-7575 for more info. Educom Cooperative Credit Union Limited. Value through service.
The National Women's Ministries of the New Testament Church of God in Jamaica presents its annual Caribbean Women's Conference, Thursday, April 20 through to Sunday, April 23. Opening service, Thursday, April 20 at 7 p.m. at the Glendevon New Testament Church, and the Give Back Community Fair with medical, legal, counseling services, and prayer walks happens Friday, April 21 at 9 a.m. at the Glendevon New Testament Church. Care packages will be issued to seniors and the needy, and Love 101 will bring you live links throughout the day. The awards service is on Friday, April 21 at 7 p.m. at the Montego Bay Convention Center. Plenary sessions and workshops will be held on Saturday, April 22, 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the closing session is on Sunday, April 23 at the Convention Center with delayed broadcast on Love 101 FM. It's a great way to reach those in need and spread the love of Christ. The National Women's Ministries of the New Testament Church of God's annual Caribbean Women's Conference, Thursday, April 20 through to Sunday, April 23. A Love 101 endorsed event.
A world of difference with the love of God.
Here's why you can't afford to miss the Morning Watch.
I love listening to the Morning Watch because topics are discussed and issues are highlighted that are of major importance, which in turn edify me.
The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
I like listening to the Morning Watch. I find it very informative. I find it very interesting. The topics that are covered are very, very wide.
The Morning Watch, thought-provoking, insightful, current. Listen for the probing questions with Attorney at Law Stokely Marshall and the in-depth discussion with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. On Thursdays, the Morning Watch is brought to you by Educom Cooperative Credit Union, providing value through service, and Bashco, the store that gives you more. The Morning Watch, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. The Morning Watch is on the family station Love 101.
101.1, 101.3, 101.5, 101.7, 101.9. Love is all you need. The station of choice, above the noise. Love 101. The family station. You're listening to Love 101 FM, a family station.
Hi, I'm Shelly Ann Fraser Price, and you're listening to Love FM, the family station.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on the family station, Love 101. We are approaching 1:35, so we have about around 25 minutes to go. And I am still here with Aiden and Kyle. We're talking about the English Premier League, and we will touch on the Champions League very shortly. Remember, if you have those comments, you can leave them on 876 997-3125, or if you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, you can leave it in the comments. Ariel saying, great show so far. Nicole checking in saying, good afternoon. So Let's talk briefly about the top four race, starting with you, Kyle, because after the Carabao Cup win by Manchester United, people thought it would be a cruise for them. At one point, people thought that they were in the title race, in a more commanding position, third on 59 points. Newcastle just behind them, and Tottenham. Since firing Conte, things have been falling apart a little bit. Aston Villa not too far off, probably a long shot, but if you had to choose, who do you think would get those last two Champions League places?
I think for top four, I think it's actually already chosen with Arsenal, City, United, and Newcastle. It's just dependent on who will finish in what position. I mean, right now Arsenal are top and United are third, but who's to say they don't finish second and fourth? I don't see Spurs finding the consistency to catch Newcastle or pass them. Neither do I see it with Villa or Liverpool or Brighton, even if the refs don't work with Brighton. Now we've seen the refs do with Brighton with some dodgy decisions. But I think it's gonna be Newcastle and United to finish in the top four along with City and Arsenal representing the Champions League.
Aiden, last season, at one point, many felt that Arsenal were going to finish top four, and Spurs went on this crazy run, and Arsenal fell off. Even lost to Newcastle, and that essentially sealed their fate. Do you see Tottenham trying to, or possibly producing something similar? Or do you think, like Kyle, right now, United and Newcastle are almost sure of those top four places?
I'd have to agree with Kyle. I think Newcastle and Man United do round off the top four. I don't think Tottenham, like Kyle said, will string together enough consistency, to achieve the points they need to get into the top four for the Champions League next season. Partly because, yes, last year they did put together a great run, but they still had that, the newness of Antonio Conte and his managerial style and brilliance to get them over the line. This season, the camp is all over the place in Tottenham. We've had both managers, both Conte and Stellini, talk about the players' mentality after bad losses. And yeah, just on a whole, Tottenham don't really seem to be in a very cohesive place as a team. So I don't think they will put together the necessary wins and points needed to get into the top four. So I think one of the real questions is, can Newcastle do it? We've seen them get absolutely blown out of the water by Aston Villa in recent weeks. And Aston Villa is on a massive, massive charge right now. Unai Emery is putting together really something special in Birmingham. And I'm excited to see what they can do. Maybe top four might just be a bit too far this season, but next season I'm definitely excited, and they should qualify for Europe this year.
And just quickly on the relegation race, because at the start of the season, a lot of people felt that was certain, but we're 32 games in, and it's still pretty tight. Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Everton, Leeds, Leicester, West Ham, Bournemouth, Wolves, and even Crystal Palace to an extent are in that race right now. If you had to choose one team that you think absolutely have no chance, starting with you, Kyle, who do you think? Or if you think that there are more than one team, if you want to be that brave and call out another two teams to say are definitely playing in the championship next season.
I think Leeds this morning against Fulham, they kind of don't I don't want to use passion. Stay.
All right, Kyle, we're having some issues with your internet there. Hoping to fix that and get you back on very shortly. Aidan, so you can take that one in terms of Who do you think is possibly going down? And if you want to be brave and call more than one team?
I think Southampton, they might just be a bit past them this season. Unfortunately, I do wish them all the best, the best possible end to the season. I do think the getting out the relegation zone just might be a bit too difficult for them. I think they still sit rock bottom, I believe. So I think that just Southampton definitely, I think, will be playing in the championship next year. In terms of who else, I really couldn't tell you. I think Crystal Palace is out of the fight, though. Roy Hodgson seems to have put something special in these players' team. Patrick Vieira was sacked unfortunately, and Roy Hodgson came in, and it was just like immediate poof, immediate manager bounce. I think they should be out of the woods. Leicester looked doomed for a minute, but they put together a great win today against Wolves. That would give them a massive boost and kind of pulls Wolves back into the fight a little bit more. But yeah, for if one team I'm fairly certain about going down, it's unfortunately Southampton.
All right, Southampton. Kyle, you are back, hoping that the connectivity issue has fixed. The same relegation question.
Yeah, for me, it's Leeds United, because they just don't look like a team that believe they can stay anymore. They play the games 100% for the full 90 minutes, but they play it with the belief that they're going to be in the Premier League next season. The result this morning against Fulham, I mean, if you actually look at the game, Leeds did create some good chances and they should have taken some of them. I mean, Tosin was very good for Fulham on the defensive, but apart from that, Leeds should have found at least 2 goals a game. They ended up scoring out. It was an own goal from Palhinha. They're the team, I think, who they're stuck in this relegation fight. They will be in the championship. And well, Southampton, I've been saying this a couple of weeks now. I think Southampton still have one big result left in them. I thought it would have been Arsenal, but they hung on for a draw. I don't, but I still think they're going to escape relegation somehow. Leicester, yeah, the game today, but it was a scoring goals that
All right, Kyle, you are going good there. Then the internet again. So hoping to connect with you again very shortly. Let's go with now to the Champions League, because the semi-finalists have been decided. Aidan, Real Madrid versus City, and the all-Italian clash, one of the greatest derbies in world sport, Inter Milan and AC Milan. Firstly, that quarterfinal matchup between Manchester City and Bayern. A lot of people felt that was the clash to look out for, but in the end, it was fairly comfortable for City, and it could have been otherwise if not for Deo Upamecano of Bayern Munich. Just what went wrong with Bayern, not just with Upamecano, but their attacking play and their usual organization?
I think Bayern's decision to sack Nagelsmann is one that I guess you could say they had reason for. It was still very surprising and quite undeserved in my personal opinion. But, you sack Nagelsmann, and to be fair, sometimes when you sack a manager, you get a new manager bounce. But I think this late into the season, sacking Nagelsmann, bringing in Tuchel, you're completely changing. Those two managers probably set up their defenses completely differently. So these players are having to switch systems, right before some of their biggest games. Tuchel's first game was against Borussia Dortmund. He won, yes, but that's a very big game for them in the Bundesliga. And then he had the Manchester City clash, and in that first leg, you saw them get blown out to the water 3-0. Manchester City looked very comfortable. So I think a change of system, the sudden change of complete personnel in the Bayern camp, that probably led to them ultimately losing by such a large margin to Manchester City. I would have had Manchester City as the favourites heading into the tie probably. I probably would have expected City to come out of it personally, but in terms of just by the margin and the comfort in which they did so, I didn't expect it to be, as the gap to be as large as it was.
Yeah, Kyle, you are back. Praying God that your internet is a little improved. But earlier you had mentioned that City had brought in Haaland to win that Champions League after seeing his performances in those two legs and just Man City in general. How impressed are you with Pep Guardiola's side heading into those semifinals?
I think this is to be impressed. I can't say I am impressed because I've seen Pep Guardiola's teams play like this in the past. Um, they were really good against Bayern Munich. I mean, the new manager, new system, all the change. That's how they got the win. Haaland really just taking on defenders. Upamecano really did kind of play against this team. Leroy Sane to some extent, and there was a whole disconnect in the camp as well. But you struggle to actually find a weakness. I mean, maybe John Stones at right run to the final, but apart from that, it's really hard to look at the City team and find an actual weakness that you can pinpoint.
Aiden, Real Madrid last year, a lot of people wrote them off even before those games ended. They pulled off some of the greatest comebacks that we've ever seen, and they did it in each round, I believe, except for the final when they came good against Liverpool. Do you think that because of that experience and that quality, and knowing that they don't have much to play for in La Liga, that they are in a more advantageous position than Manchester City, who, as we mentioned earlier, are not only trying to win their first Champions League title, but trying to overtake Arsenal in the league?
I do think, like you said, not having. I mean, granted, Real Madrid will never not play for the title in La Liga. I don't care if they think they're 25 points off with 3 games left. They'll always be playing, to try and get something out of the league. Carlo Ancelotti and Real Madrid on a whole, their culture is never to, give up hope on a prospective trophy, because mathematically it's not even over yet. We can't just hand the title to Barcelona just yet. As a Barcelona fan, I'm very superstitious, and I'd like to see, the games fall before I celebrate. So, yeah, Real Madrid, they'll definitely still be playing to their full capacity in La Liga, but with those players and just the culture of Real Madrid, there is a heavy importance on the Champions League, and no matter what, they'll always turn up on European nights. So, I don't think they'll be, taking it easy in the league just to prepare for the Champions League, but the Real Madrid on a whole, the entire club lifts up on Champions League nights.
Let's go over to the other semi-finalists, because this is something that many would not have predicted at the start of the Champions League back in September, or if you are one of those people who say it starts on the qualification stages in July, then fine. But to have Inter Milan and AC Milan in the semi-finals, it feels like we are almost in 2005, Kyle. How, even though Inter might have had an easier route playing Benfica, and AC Milan playing a super informed Napoli, but how impressed have you been by those teams to get to this stage of the Champions League, knowing that they haven't been here for a while?
Yeah, I'm very impressed on Inter and AC Milan. The Milan derby for a Champions League semi. Who I don't think anybody would have bet on that. Most of us, I think, thought Napoli would have gotten through to the final on that side. Unfortunately, they got eliminated. I mean, Syria is doing well right now. I mean, they also have Juve and Roma in the semis of the Europa League. So, I mean, maybe it will be a clean sweep of the Italian teams in Europe. Who knows? But you know, I'm very impressed with AC Milan, the way they're playing with Leao, with even Olivier Giroud. And Inter Milan, normally they're out at the group stages or in the round of 16. By this point, we don't even mention it, Inter Milan. So they've shown really good movement. So I'm just very impressed with both teams, and I hope for a really good tie.
Yeah, Aiden. In regards to that, AC Milan Inter tie, AC Milan not in the title charge this season. Inter, they've had a few up and downs in the Serie A, as Kyle mentioned. Do you think that this is probably one of the most even ties that we've seen in a semifinal so far, and that it literally could go either way?
Yeah, a Milan derby, like they say, no matter the form of either team in any derby, both of them turn up on the night. It's really nice to see Serie A back, at the forefront of European football. It's been a little while, like I said, since Juventus and Real Madrid, and we saw that final went, unfortunately, for Juventus. And even before that, you had Juventus and the Barcelona. Again, unfortunately for Juventus, didn't work out for them there either. But yeah, it's definitely great to see Serie A back at the forefront of European football. That era of Premier League dominance was relatively, well, I wouldn't say short-lived, but maybe now people will start giving more respect to the other European leagues and seeing what.
All right, look like we lost Aiden there for just a second. So hopefully he returns very shortly. Kyle, basically the same question, or maybe I should ask you to see who is your favorite, really, in terms of that AC Milan and Inter clash. Who do you think probably has that better advantage to head into that final?
Well, my heart says in the teams, and look at this. I have to say who they're going to contain. Rafael Leao when he's playing like this. When Benacer is going forward. When Giroud plays like prime Giroud in his Arsenal. I don't know how you going to contain a team like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Inter do have a very strong midfield contingent. The games can be won and lost in the midfield, but if it ends 0-0, you're gonna need scorers at some point. And I'm not, ever since the World Cup, I know people have been coming down on Lautaro Martinez, and I still have faith in him as a good striker. But I'm not convinced he'll be able to outgun Leao and Giroud on his own.
Yeah, Aidan, you are back, and we just have about 3 or 4 minutes to go. I know that you aren't a huge prediction type of guy, but let's say that we are at the end of May. Who do you think are the respective champions in the EPL, the Champions League, even though you say it's not over in La Liga, and also the Bundesliga? Who do you think will be those main champions in those competitions?
Like you say, I'm a very superstitious person, so I'll give my predictions for all of them except La Liga. So for the Premier League, I'm inclined to think it's Manchester City. They have it in their hands at the moment. If they win all their games, they'll be champions. It's as simple as that. Same for Arsenal, to be fair, but I think City just has that the experience to try and proven metal that it takes to win the Premier League so far. Arsenal we still don't know if they could still very much do it, but we just don't know. We haven't seen it in a good little while now. For Syria, I think Napoli should win that fairly comfortably. I think that's been decided for a little while now. In Germany, With the different form Bayern has experienced ever since the sacking of Julian Nagelsmann. It's hard to bet. It's hard to bet on them. Dortmund can go top with a win this weekend after Bayern lost earlier today. So that's going to be very interesting. Still between those two, and if Dortmund can finally end this period of Bayern dominance. But for the Champions League, though, I'm hoping it will be Manchester City. I'm hoping it will be, but I'll be content with anybody except Real Madrid. So those are my predictions.
Kyle, your predictions for the top leagues, even though I believe Napoli and Barcelona are already winners of the Serie A and La Liga, but in terms of the EPL Champions League and the Bundesliga, who do you think will be crowned champions at the end of May?
Well, for the EPL, I think it would be Man City. I hope it will be Arsenal. I really hope it will be Arsenal. I really can't have City doing 3 times straight. Champions League, Hala Madrid, they are the Champions League themselves. Bayern always find a way to win. However, this year I think they're going to find a way to actually beat them, and the dominance, may even keep Jude Bellingham as well. And yeah, Serie A, La Liga, I think France, I don't think anybody beats PSG. I know Lille are trying to put up a fight, but in France, there's only really one team, isn't
it? Well, those other teams like Lens and Lyon, Lille will disagree, but hopefully one day the perception around Liga changes, because I do believe that is a pretty decent quality league, even though it's been called a farmers league. But Aiden and Kyle, truly appreciate your time this afternoon, and closer to the time or after the season ends, truly hope to have you back, and we'll be able to talk about all these results. So thanks again, and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, you can thank Kyle. Why not? Because the contributions were truly appreciated. It is almost 2:00, just a minute before we get to 2:00 here, and I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in to Sports Talk today. Remember, the European football is getting really hot, so if there's any better time to watch European football, it is now. So if you're not interested, this is the time. And then when next season starts, you will be super, super excited about it. Remember, as always, Sports Talk happens every Saturday right here on the family station, Love 101, from 1 to 2 p.m. And next week we're going to talk about a different sport, some major sporting topic. And we love to hear from you as always. Thanks again to everyone. Please enjoy your weekend, stay safe, and as always, watch some sports. Till next time.